everyone, are you well? Jumping straight into the video, I found these 4-pack of Junkbots cheap on Amazon. I had to have them. Even if I don't make the Junkbots, I can still use them as greeblies. Now, I could be wrong, but I do believe this toy line does not exist anymore. The only place that you can get them is Amazon. So if you spot them at a cheap price like I did, grab them because they're great for greeblies. I mean, look at all these little pieces in here. And there's 4 boxes of these, and I already had 1 box from last year that I'd bought. So I've got 5 boxes of all this junk. I mean, this is just plastic porn, really, isn't it? So that's all of the big pieces all laid out on the desk. All the smaller little pieces are in the blue tub at the back, but there's some great shapes and stuff that I'll be able to make lots of, like bots, mechs and stuff like that. So there's also little units that have like lights that you can switch on and off, and you'll see that later on in the video. But for now, let's start scratching that build. To kick off, I'm going to use these 2 legs that I made months ago for an abandoned mech that never came about. Abandoned until now, because I'm going to be looking through this and I'm going to find little pieces just to add to it. And I think I've just found my first little robot. I think I'm going to use that. I just need to attach the legs to the base. I'm going to bring out the world's worst Dremel, which is this pretend drill, which is terrible, but I keep using it because I can't afford a new one, and I don't know where my big drill is. So I'm going to use this to make holes so that I can attach the legs to the computer terminal. I used a couple of the pieces from the small blue box that came with all the Junkbots just to attach them, so there's no glue necessary there, so that I can pose the legs if needed. Then I'm going to use this, I don't know what it is, I think it's a tumble dryer or something, but I'm going to put these things on that look like arms and then just attach it to the terminal, and that'll be the first robot. The legs are looking a little bit sad, so I'm just going to again use some greeblies from the Junkbots, just cut it down to what I need and just stick them on just for a little bit of texture. This is that unit I was talking about. Look how cool it is with the light. So I'm going to incorporate that. I'm going to put that so it looks like a searchlight. So I'm going to stick that to the back of the leg and then have the wire coming round. Once that was done, it was time to paint the legs. I'm going to use like a pumpkin colour. Don't ask me why, I'm just trying to broaden my horizons from green, black and red. I felt this bot needed some go faster stripes, so I just painted some black stripes on one of the legs, 2 of the legs, just so it gave it that sort of like visual interest. Then it was just a simple process of me just attaching everything together, and that was the first bot done. There we go, that's the first robot done with his flashy lights and everything, and I shall call you Simon. Not wanting Simon to be left by himself, I decided to build him a second robot, a friend basically, which I'm just going to use just all the little bits and pieces from the Junkbots and just do one proper Junkbot style. So it looks like Simon now has a friend who I shall call Craig. So Simon and Craig are now all done and dusted. I'm just going to paint Craig, just going to go over him, just bits of colour, just to make it look like he's battered and worn. And once all the paint has dried, I'll just reassemble him and attach another light to Craig. I know they say 3's a crowd, but I'm going to make a 3rd. This time though, I'm just going to paint him up, distress him, because he's going to be the main player in the diorama that I'm going to build for these Junkbots. I'm just kind of testing to see if this panel liner paint is going to work on the robot, which it does in a way. Doesn't matter what it looks like because this guy is going to be all banged up and rusty. I'm breaking out the weathering powders just to weather everybody up. So Simon and Craig, and I haven't named the 3rd robot. What shall I call the 3rd robot? Kevin. So everybody's going to get a dust down, make them look a little bit dirty, like they've been walking through the deserts and stuff like that, and then it'll be next on to the diorama. I'm going to repurpose an old diorama that I've had laying around. Greta Thunberg will be so pleased with me. And what I'm going to do is just make like a sand pit that Kevin has fallen into and got stuck, because I'm going to break out the resin as well. So what I need to do first is just chop this bit up in the hole so then Kevin can actually sit in it. So I'm just going to destroy a diorama. To make sure that the diorama is going to be watertight before I pour the resin in, I'm going to throw a load of PVA glue in, let that set, and then I'll be ready for the resin. Halfway through the drying time, I just threw some scenic gravel in there just to give it a little bit more sort of like realism or bit of interest. You probably won't see this once the robot goes in and the resin goes on top, because the resin is going to be coloured slightly, but for me at least I know I've done it. Once that's dry, I'm just going to use the paint and just paint up the bottom of the hole. I also added some fake grass and some flowers, and then it was time to test fit Kevin in the hole, and yes, he did fit, which surprised me. So just gonna grime him up a little bit more using some earth paint. Then came time for the resin. You've seen me use this before, but basically it's half and half. Half the resin and half the resin hardener, I kind of guess. So just going to mix that up, be very careful. I feel like Heisenberg right at this moment in time, mixing all these chemicals together. Once you've mixed both together and given it a good stir for a couple of minutes, I think you've got probably around about 10-15 minutes before it starts to harden. So time is of the essence, and don't do what I did and walked away for 10 minutes because there was an emergency with the dishwasher, which just needed to be turned on. And the reason why it was an emergency was because I'd promised the other half that I would do the dishwasher at 9 AM in the morning, and while I was doing this diorama it was suddenly 3 PM in the afternoon, and the good lady was home in about an hour. So I had two emergencies that needed attending to. I think the third emergency would have been me driving myself to A&E because of the black eye I would have got if the dishwasher hadn't been turned on and emptied before she came home. Anyway, what I'm doing right now is just pouring slowly the resin into the hole, looking for any leaks. That's why I've put it on a tray. I use this tray for painting and stuff like that, and so far, touch wood, there is no leaks. What I'm doing there is just tapping the diorama. Yep, no leaks, look at that, eh? It was a clever boy. Just tapping the diorama just to try and get the air bubbles out. Then I'm going to use this, which is a mini flamethrower. This is the only size that I trust myself with, and I'm just going to pop all the surface bubbles that rise from the resin, and then just leave it for about 12 hours, I guess. So we're under 9 minutes for this video, so there'll be no excuse for skipping. Thanks for stopping by. Next are the glamour shots. Keep scratching that build, everybody.